Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle something that I think trips a lot of us up: how to write a really powerful critique. We're going to break it down with a simple, effective framework that'll turn that blank page into a killer analysis. You know that feeling, right? You're staring at a blank page, you've been asked to critically evaluate something, and your mind just goes silent. You have thoughts, sure, but how do you get them into a structured, convincing argument? Well, the good news is it's actually simpler than you think. Writing a sharp, insightful critique isn't some kind of dark art. It's a skill, and it's a skill you can absolutely learn. In fact, it all comes down to just two key ingredients. That's it. You master these two things, and you're well on your way to building a strong, persuasive argument every single time. Okay, so let's dive right into these two core ingredients: the what and the how. Seriously, think of these as the only two tools you really need in your critique toolbox. So here's the blueprint. Your perspective is the what. It's your main point, your stance, your overall take. Then you have language, which is the how, the specific words and phrases you use to actually build your case. One's the plan, the other's the power tools. All right, let's talk step one: find your perspective. And let me tell you, this is probably the most crucial decision you're going to make, because it sets the stage for absolutely everything that follows. Your perspective is literally the lens you're going to use to look at the subject. So before you even think about writing, you have to decide, what's my angle here? What am I trying to prove? And really, you've got three core stances you can take. Choosing one isn't just about a gut feeling. It's a strategic move. Let's break them down. First up, you can be in support. Now, this doesn't just mean you're being a cheerleader. It means you agree with the main idea, either all the way or maybe just up to a point, and you're ready to build on it. Then, of course, you can take a stance against the argument. This is where you get to play devil's advocate. Your job is to challenge the main idea, poke some holes in it, or maybe even argue that it's fundamentally flawed. And finally, there's the neutral position. But hold on, this doesn't mean you don't have an opinion. Not at all. It means you're taking on the role of a careful analyst, laying out the strengths and weaknesses side by side to create a really balanced comparative analysis. Okay, so you've got your perspective. That's the what. Now it's time for step two: master your language. This is the how. This is where the magic really happens, and you give your argument its power. The right words are like bridges connecting your ideas. They're the mortar holding all the bricks of your argument together, guiding your reader so they can follow your train of thought without ever getting lost. Just look at these words that build and emphasize. They're like little signposts for your reader. Using a word like consequently or as a result does more than just add another point. It shows a clear cause and effect link, and that makes your argument feel so much smarter. And here's your toolkit for comparing and contrasting. These are your pivot words. When you say something like in contrast or on the other hand, you're signaling to your reader, hey, pay attention, we're about to look at this from a totally different angle. It's incredibly effective. Okay, so let's put it all together. We have our perspective, we have our language. Now let's build our strongest argument and see how this actually works in a real-world example. So at its heart, what is an argument? It's simple, really. Premise plus premise equals a conclusion. You make a point, you back it up with evidence, and that combination leads you to your final conclusion. That's it. So first, you have to hunt down the main point, the thesis. Let's check out this abstract. Right there in the very first sentence, it tells us the article's aim is to highlight the changes in Sabah literature. Boom, that's our first premise. Okay, so what's the evidence? The next sentence tells us how they're going to do that, by looking at themes and characters. This is our second premise. It's the why that backs up that first point. And all of that leads us to the conclusion, the big so what of the whole piece. Here, it's that the research exposes the social-political influences. See how those first 2 points build directly to this final takeaway? That's a solid, structured argument. So here's the bottom line. A great critique isn't just you spouting an opinion. No way. It's a structured argument. It's when you take a clear perspective and you combine it with precise language to build a case that's actually convincing. So there you have it. The tools are in your toolbox now. You've got perspective and you've got language. The only question left is, what's the first thing you're going to critique?